So I went down to Dadlasol and I met Tyler and I met some of the other guys there as well. And they were so honest and so open about their struggles and their mental health in a way that I think is really going to help people. And they've messaged me a few times since to say the amount of people that have reached out to them to say, I'm struggling, what do I do? Off the back of hearing this on Radio 1 is unprecedented.
Wow, this week. So
this week,
that's amazing.
And I think talking to Tyler was particularly impactful to me because, and I've spoken about this earlier in the week, I lost my dad when I was 22, and it was a very sudden death. He had problems with alcohol. He had problems with his mental health, and he left us, and he left us in a incredibly sudden way that, if I'm honest, left me feeling angry. I was angry, and I didn't know how to process it. I didn't talk to anyone about it, and I sort of pretended like it hadn't happened. But grief has this sort of funny way of not caring about time, and all you're doing is delaying a sort of confrontation with it. It's going to come to you at some stage. And for me, that just took so long. It took years and years. And I would have maybe like 1 or 2 days a year where I would become completely immobilized by thinking about it. And my amazing wife, Bryony, would sort of comfort me through that. I didn't talk to anyone else about it. Didn't talk to my friends about it. I felt ashamed of it. Didn't talk to anyone. And one of the first people I opened up to about it was Mollie. And she had a family member who had passed in a similar way. And she was really open to me about that. And I'm really sad that I had to repay the favour that she did me last year, because her dad, Steve, she just was so close with all her and her sisters, all so close as a family. And Moll had so much love and respect for Steve, like it was a treat for them to go out. And she came into the show one day and she said, I saw my dad this morning and something just wasn't right. He wasn't himself. And a couple of days later, he collapsed and they took him to hospital and they found out that he had a brain tumour. And they knew pretty quickly it's incurable. Like, what can you say in that situation? And Mollie was pregnant, about to give birth, and her whole life, and she was still doing the show, by the way, like she was functioning at the level that she does, I think to try and to run from it a bit. And her dad died, and she could not carry on into grief because she had a baby and she had to look after Annabella.
Yeah.
Stuart, because of his job, meant he was away, he was travelling. She was basically alone for a long time and she couldn't talk about it. She couldn't think about it, she couldn't talk about it. And I would try and check in on her and she just couldn't face it. And I want to thank Comic Relief really for the opportunity of coming to Mollie and asking her if she wanted to do this challenge, because her grieving has started now, and it started way earlier than mine did, and she's tackling it head on. And I think what I just want to do is just remind people that the pain is part of it, and it will go. It will go. It will never die completely. There'll be like a little echo of it at different points in your life, and there'll be things you see or things you hear. But you won't feel as ruined by it as you do at the time. And Mollie said to me she's gonna drown out the noise on the way through to the finish line today, and that her dad is going to be with her. Steve is on that last couple of miles, and she's going to take the time to think about him in a way that she just hasn't had the space to in the last year. And it's both of them that are crossing that finish line. think what I'd like to do is play a song, and for anyone that's experienced grief at any point, and grief can be for your pet that's died, it can be for your grandma, it can be for a friend, it can be for anyone. If you feel a loss for someone, do what Mollie's doing now and just think about them for a bit. I know it's really hard and it's scary to do, but just give a little moment where you say thank you for being in my life, and where you remember all the good bits, and yeah, just take a minute for yourself.
Can I please just give you a quick cut on?
Thank you, Matt. We love you, but God damn you. Guys, if you have been affected by anything that you've heard there, you can go to bbc.co.uk/action line, and please do keep those donations coming in for these amazing charities like Dadless Soul.